Hey, y'all.
Hola, welcome to 30 Minutes Down South. She's Allison.
And he's Carlos, and we are two top producing realtors.
With two extremely different Southern upbringings.
Join us each week as we explore the Lake Murray area with our special guests.
Welcome, Allison, to our Christmas episode.
I know, you can't help but smile at this one.
I know, right?
We're going to have a special guest. I even wore, can you see him?
Oh, you have Santa earrings.
I have Santa earrings
Did you make
in
those?
his honor. No, I didn't make them.
Well, I mean, like, they look like somebody could make them. They look
I'm
handmade.
sure somebody could. Maybe
Well.
somebody will ask for some for Christmas, but
Well, you know, they're handmade, so why not?
that's right.
So yeah, we're going to have the real Santa. We're going to have a FaceTime. He's in the North Pole. He's
Very busy.
yeah, I'm pretty sure at this time he's about to, finish up. Who's a naughty? Who's nice? What's a cutoff for naughty? That's a question we have to ask him,
Ooh,
right?
that is a good question. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, because like if you send your letter on the 1st of December, right?
Yeah.
Then you technically have those 20 days to do whatever you want. And actually,
But just because the letter is sent does not mean that your gift list has been finalized.
well, that's actually one thing that I thought when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
I remember that particular time between when the letter is sent to when the gift is gone. It's like free for all.
So I think there's so many different like family traditions as well as like area specific, colloquial, all of that people do. And one conversation that's come up recently is, does Santa wrap the gifts that come to your house, or are they just laid out?
Well, that's why he has those little elves to help him. He doesn't necessarily. I mean, like, what does he do the whole year?
He keeps up with the naughty and nice list. I don't know. We're going to have to ask him. That's
what I'm
another good
saying.
question.
How can you keep up with the list, say in July? So say that when you're ready when naughty on the summer, does that screws up the whole year? Or you get one good action, kills the other? You know what I mean? Like, what's the...
I don't know. And you know that there's still a naughty and nice list for adults.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Who keeps track of that stuff?
We watched the movie Elf Friday night, and there's a naughty and nice list for adults.
All right.
Sorry to disappoint you.
How about this? Why? I'm nice. What you talking about? I'm the nicest guy on earth.
Yes, you are.
And we are going to... How about we start the conversation with Santa? It's via satellite. Yeah, regular. He doesn't have cell phone over there. So we had to go through satellite phone. It was very expensive, very complicated, but we did it for you.
Let's see him.
Oh my God, it's a real one, Allison.
It's Santa! Woohoo!
Hello!
Hi, Mr. Santa. Do we call you Santa? Do you call it Mr. Santa?
Mr. Claus?
Mr. Claus?
You know that, first of all, I go by many, many monikers. That means names, of course. It depends on what part of the country, or I should say what part of the world you're from. I go by Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, Father Christmas, Père Noël, Kris Kringle. There are so many, but I think Santa is the most friendly and sort of, I don't know. I think it just has a nice ring to it, don't you?
I agree.
Absolutely.
So, correct me if we're wrong, but you are right now on the North Pole. You're getting ready for Christmas. You got your last minute packing. How much? Tell me a little bit how is it going right now? What's it like on a daily basis?
Wonderful, wonderful question. And first of all, let me thank you both once again, if I haven't already. Thank you for having me on your show, Carlos and Allison. Did I get it correct?
Yes. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We know what a busy time of year it is for you.
It has been crazy. Carlos, to answer your question, yes, we are doing a remote from the North Pole. I am in what we call the hot cocoa room or the hot cocoa parlor, and Mrs. Claus is away in the kitchen. She is being helped by many elves, and we are so busy right now. The preparations are going well. The deer are doing fine, and they are out in the stables right now, being looked after by many of my helpers. So it seems that everything is a-okay for departure on the 24th of this month.
Santa, you mentioned you're in the hot cocoa room, and I have 3 girls, and they are all about the hot chocolate. So we have a little
I know.
we have a debate in our house. One of our daughters prefers whipped cream on her hot chocolate, and the other 2 prefer marshmallows on the top. What's your favorite?
Well, that is wonderful. I'll tell you what, I think when you're talking about whipped cream and marshmallows, there's no wrong answer to this. Your daughters are as intelligent and educated and bright as you are, Allison.
Oh,
and
thank you.
If they want marshmallows, they can have marshmallows. If they want whipped cream, they can have whipped cream. Santa's favorite is marshmallows and whipped cream.
A man after my own heart.
Yes.
What about the cookies? We were wondering which one is your favorite.
You know something? I am asked this question every single year. My favorite cookies are chocolate chip. But I like all kinds of cookies. I like the kind where you take the peppermint canes and you crush them up and you bake those inside of the dough. Oh my goodness, I could go on and on.
We had a little discussion about that earlier. Carlos was right. He said chocolate chip would be your favorite.
He is absolutely correct. And, you know, Carlos remembers that because it was some 30 some odd years ago that I used to stop by his home and check my list and see whether he had been good or whether he had been rather naughty. And I am happy to say that he made my nice list most of the time.
Most of the time? Santa, it was all the time.
All right. All right. I cannot tell a lie. Santa sometimes likes to give a little ribbing to my friends, but Carlos was wonderful all the time and made the nice list every year. But he used to leave for me these delicious chocolate chip cookies every year that I used to come over and check and make sure he was asleep. And I would eat them all up before I would lay a finger aside my nose and go straight back up the chimney to go to the next house.
Santa,
isn't Christmas wonderful?
That is awesome. That is awesome. And you know what? It's great to have you here because it's the very first time I'm able to talk to you. And you've always gone to my house and gave me so many presents and gave presents to my friends and my friends' friends. And I never got the opportunity to thank you. So I really want to thank you.
No, listen. You are most welcome. You know, we had talked about having me on your podcast, but you know, Santa is a very busy man, if you didn't already know that, Carlos. Mm-hmm. I have lots going on. I don't just have this or that, but I am so happy that we could make time for me to come here. You know, I think that we also discussed the possibility of me flying my sleigh to Chapin and coming straight into Remax and being there with you. But unfortunately, you know, we are so busy at the North Pole at this time of year. We just couldn't make that happen. But look at us. I'm on TV.
You're famous.
I'm famous.
Santa, how do you manage to visit every single kid in just one night? That's something that really blows my mind.
That is a wonderful, wonderful question, and it has a lot to do with science, thermodynamics. I can tell you that thermodynamics are a part of the whole thing. And you know the reason that I don't discuss such things about this magical, quasi-scientific way that I'm able to do it? It's because it bores the children. They want to know about gifts. They want to see me arrive or be asleep and then wake up and have me appear and give them gifts. But it's a wonderful question, and someday we might sit down and have to talk about the science of Santa Claus.
Oh, I'm very intrigued by
Very
the
intrigued.
science.
How's that for avoiding to answer the question?
Yeah,
That's
you gotta
right.
love it.
Well-
I'm pretty sure it's not the first time you've asked this question before.
No.
I think
I get asked all the time.
Another favorite question of the children is always about the reindeer Santa. So you said that they're out in the stable now.
Yes.
Do you always bring Rudolph, or is it just when it's a cloudy or stormy evening and you need his nose to light the way?
What a fantastic question, Allison. And you know something else. If you'll recall, Allison, I remember the Christmas that you desperately wanted that Cabbage Patch doll, and I was able to swing that for you. And I hope that you still remember and that you still hold on to
I
that.
did. Lucy was one of my favorites.
Well, I remember, dear Lucy.
She
and
still plays
it
with
was
them.
such a pleasure to be able to make that dream come true for you. And answer to your question, I bring Rudolph with me all the time, every single flight. And do you know why? The reason is this. The weather forecast may be nice and light and clear skies, but the problem is you never know how it's going to end up. And of course, I'm flying all over the world. So in one area, it might be clear skies, and another, it may be a foggy night. So I rely on Rudolph and his brilliant red nose to light my way. How's that for answering your question in 15 minutes?
I never even thought about it, Santa, but you were exactly right.
Santa, another question that I have always asked myself, how do you get so many toys in that red bag that you have on your sledge? How do you fill them up? I mean, it's millions and millions of toys.
That is a wonderful question, and I'm going to give you the honest answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you see me, there is sort of an illusion. If you look up in the sky and you see me on the 24th flying by, you see me in one sleigh flying by with my 8 tiny reindeer. Well, those are the main reindeer, and I am the main man, as you call it. But you know, we have drop-offs. That's right. I have elves and helpers who have other sleighs filled with toys. And if you've ever learned about airlines and the huge Boeing airplanes that actually get fueled in mid-flight, that's sort of how this happened.
Wow.
So does that answer your question? Do you see where I'm going with
Yes, yes. They kind of come and refill you when you're running low.
This is absolutely correct. It's always me who does the delivery.
But they come in and out.
That's right. I need a little help.
Oh.
Wow, that makes sense. Well, to kind of piggyback on Carlos asking how you get so many toys in that red bag, I was just telling him about one of my favorite Christmas movies, Elf. Have you ever had something sneak into your bag, Santa, that has come back to the North Pole with you?
Yes, you won't believe this. I'm telling tales out of school, but I'll tell you the truth. There was a time when the movie was just premiering. It was coming out, and Ed Asner was unable. He was not feeling well that night, so he was unable to don the Santa clothing and go out to Hollywood for the big premiere. So guess what? I got a little call from Hollywood, and I came in to do the premiere, but guess who snuck inside my sleigh and fell asleep? Will Ferrell.
Oh my God.
This is an absolute true story. You won't believe it, but it's true. Will Ferrell snuck into my sack. He fell asleep, and we ended up taking him all the way to the North Pole. He was a lovely man. He's a very large man, as you know. It's not a great look, Will Ferrell.
So he was in character, basically.
In the yellow tights. However, we had a wonderful weekend, that weekend of the premiere, and he stayed with us, and we put him up, and then we had to fly him back, of course, because they had what we call a junket in Hollywood. They had to go around, and Will had to, announce this wonderful premiere of the film Elf. But that was a good time. I couldn't believe he jumped out like that.
That is awesome. I got one more question for you, Mr. Santa.
Yes.
How, we were talking about this actually off camera. Is there like a cutoff date so when I was a kid, I remember that I would send a letter, say at the beginning of December, and then in my own head, I thought, well, if I send the letter to Santa on the beginning of December, then I have between the beginning of December all the way to Christmas to do whatever I want because he's already made the decision whether I'm naughty or nice. Is that true? Where's your cutoff for being naughty, and where is your cutoff for being nice?
Are you absolutely joking right now? Oh, Carlos,
He thinks there's
you
a
of all
cutoff.
people, he should know the answer to that question. I love that. That's the first time I've ever been asked if there was a cutoff time on good behavior. Listen to me, young man. There is no cutoff time. You have to be good up until the last minute that you fall asleep. Very, very important. But let me give you some good news on that. There's something else that it's good for the children to understand. If they haven't made up their mind about what they would like for Santa to bring to them for Christmas morning, it's okay. They don't need to worry about it. Sometimes children get a little panicky when I ask them, what would you like for me to bring you? And they say, I don't know yet. I say, it's all right. What the children need to do is think of what they would like. I have a magical crystal ball where I can tell what's going on in their minds, but they have to share this information with their parents. Now, the reason that they need to tell their parents what they would like for Christmas is because Christmas is a magical time of unity, and you need more than just one person to wish something to come true. And who are the closest, most powerful people in the children's lives? Their parents or their caregivers. So it's always important to let them know what they're thinking, and they can do this even as late as the 24th. It really doesn't matter. Santa is a magical man, and when we work with our parents and let them know what our wishes are, that gives me strong vibrations through my crystal ball, and I can tell what they want. I make no promises, of course, but I think about it and I do the best that I can.
Well, Santa, my 6-year-old, announced in church 2 weeks ago that she was asking for a cell phone for Christmas. And I informed her she could write you as many letters as possible, but as a 6-year-old, she would not be receiving a cell phone from you or me.
Yes, this is a very good point as well. Sometimes children ask for things that are very special to them. They think maybe a cell phone might be nice to receive on Christmas morning under the tree or in the stocking. But you know, Allison, you make a very good point. Santa works closely with parents, and what the parents know is best for that child. So if the parents know that at 6 years of age, that's a little young to be sporting an iPhone, then I am in agreement with that. And we simply need to let your little one know that, don't worry, the year will come when she will be ready for that iPhone, and it will be an appropriate gift. But for now, there are other wonderful things that she can look for and wish for Christmas morning.
That's right. Thank you for your support.
Are we on the same page here,
yeah,
Allison?
Absolutely. I cannot agree way more with you, Santa. And that brings to another question: where kids are asking for presents, do you have a limit on how many presents can you bring per kid, or how do you manage that?
That's very good. I'll tell you what. Truth be told, Santa tries to do things that are equitable, not always equal. Now, the children who are listening and watching may wonder, what in the world does that mean? Well, for me to be equitable, it means that I try to be fair in delivering something that will make that child happy. Happiness is the number one thing on Christmas morning. I will give you an example. Years ago, there was a young boy, and he had 2 brothers, and one of the brothers received one item, and that was a bicycle. Now, it was just one item, but that's a pretty big gift, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, the children don't need to know about this, but the cost of building it and putting it together in my workshop, sometimes it can be expensive.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll give one big one to one child, but then I'll give several smaller gifts to a brother or sister. And what that is being just fair and equal so that both of them can be happy. I'll tell you what. That little boy who received the bicycle and that other little boy who received the 12 magic tricks for Christmas, they were happy, not just for themselves, but for their brother. You see how that works?
That's beautiful.
So that's the best way that I know to answer that question. But it is a good question.
Yeah.
So Santa, I can't imagine what it's like to have a job that you're just able to go around making people happy and feel good all the time.
That's being a realtor.
Oh, look at how he
Depends on
did
the
that.
day.
Yes. Put in a little
We
plug
try,
right there,
but,
Carlos.
you
That's
know.
the way-
Yeah, by the
Well-
way, Santa, has anyone asked for a house for Christmas? Send them my way.
You can-
all the time, and I know where to send them. I will do that. You know, the two of you must love, speaking of houses and Christmas,
yeah.
you must love the film Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, beautiful
It's a good
film.
Because-
one.
That little girl, Natalie Wood, that in my favorite version of the film, there have been 4 of them, but that's my favorite. She wishes for a house and she doesn't think that she'll be able to get it because she doesn't believe in Santa. And yet she sees the house and she and her mother and her new stepdad run in and it's empty and it's available and it's theirs. And then she looks in the corner and she sees the cane and the hat left by Kris Kringle. What a wonderful tale of Christmas and real estate, wouldn't you say?
I would 100%
It's
agree
a
with you.
great story.
Yes. I sort of went off in a tangent. I am known to do that sometimes. You know, I might look pretty good for 798, but that's pretty much how old I am.
798, Santa?
I don't look a year older than 790.
Well, let me tell you, we just had an episode not too long ago about Botox.
Oh,
Oh. Well, you know, I've
Mrs.
had
Claus
this
might be
discussion.
asking for that for Christmas.
You know, Mrs. Claus is perfect just the way she is.
Oh, Sam, you're a charmer.
Love it.
Well, you know, we've been together for like I say, for more than 700 years, and that's a long time to have a wonderful marriage. But sometimes she'll say to me, Santa, you might consider not Botox, but maybe eating more healthy. So, yes, it's true. On the off season, I have to eat salads and greens and fruits and all those good things because that is what's going to keep me alive and well.
Just like
But
the
that's
kids.
a wonderful question.
Just like the kids that they write to you later, if they want to be nice, they need to eat their vegetables. I remember I had to do that, right?
It's very important, and not just because we think it's the right thing for them to do to give them a balance, but because it's the healthy thing for them to do.
Yeah.
Because we want those children to be around with us for a long, long time as well.
That's right. Well, how is Mrs. Claus?
Mrs. Claus, I'm so happy you asked, and she will be thrilled that you asked. She is doing very, very well. She is sometimes busier than I am because she's doing all the admin. So there's a lot of
Oh.
administration. You know, the two of you know about
Oh,
paperwork,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
contracts.
Yeah,
yes.
you're doing the easy part. She's doing all
Yeah.
the behind the scenes work.
Listen, as Allison said earlier, she couldn't imagine a job where your career is to make people happy. It's the best job in the world.
Hmm.
But yes, I have to rely on Mrs. Claus to do the paperwork, the work that's not so very fun. But we help her out, and we do it with eggnog and hot cocoa and cookies and all the wonderful things you might imagine are at the North Pole.
Mr. Santa, now
Yes.
that you mentioned the off season, what do you
Yes.
actually do after the 25th? So you come back home, you give in all the presents, kids are happy, They're playing with everything. You're back. I'm pretty sure that you want your reindeer to take a break, but then comes down in January, still cold in the North Pole. Then what do you do?
2 words: fly fishing. Santa loves to get out there and wear his suspenders with his gaiters pulled up to his knees, and I get out in the water and I whip that fly out there and do the best I can to see if I can't get some pike or bass or something like that. But Santa loves to fish. Oh my goodness. I wish that I could be there now, but that's what I look forward to, and I spend most of my time doing that. A little bit of golf.
Golf in the North Pole. Nice.
Well, listen, the North Pole is an extraordinary facility. It is a multi-billion-dollar complex with all sorts of underground areas. There's a grotto and there's a bowling alley and there's all sorts of things because, Santa can't spend a lot of time in the lower 48. I really need to be there in the North Pole to take care of business and to stay safe. There is a security measure there, of course.
That is so interesting.
I know. I've learned all kinds of things.
I wish I can go and spend one day over there with you in the North Pole, Santa.
You know what, Carlos? Maybe we need to make that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Listen, if it happened to Will Ferrell, it can happen to you.
All right,
You better be watching that red sack on Christmas Eve, Santa. You might have some visitors coming back with you.
I know. I have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, be careful
Now
this
that
year.
we've had this discussion, you know a lot of my secrets.
That's right.
Well, we appreciate you, Mr. Santa, to come and talk with us and give us some of your secrets we really like, which, all of them make sense, actually. And you think about all the questions that we had and
He's
you
a
look at the
reasonable
answer.
guy.
Like, why I didn't think about that?
That's right.
But
Well, I'm so glad that I could have the two of you. And you both are just such nice people. And I hope the best for you this year and the upcoming year, because I know the housing market can be sort of like a reindeer ride. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Up and down and up and down.
But
Up
always
and
interesting.
Always
Yes,
interesting.
and you two are able to weather that storm. And we just so appreciate the work that you do to help keep everyone indoors and safe in nice houses.
Awesome.
Carlos, I did want to say, I sometimes have a little bit of time to go out and visit and go to parties and corporate events and things like that. And I have a phone number of Mrs. Claus.
Okay.
And because you two have been so wonderful, I'm going to offer to your viewers special access to Mrs. Claus's personal phone number at the North Pole.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, Santa.
As I give that to you, just know that if children who are watching are interested in having a personal visit from me throughout the month of December at a specific event, they need to ask their parents first. In fact, they probably need to go to mom and dad and say, hey, can we get Santa, the real Santa, to come visit us? And there's a small fee involved, of course, because I have to feed those reindeer.
Yeah.
But if you call anytime throughout the next week or so, I'm sure we'll do the best we can to have me come visit you in the Midlands area. I will be coming down from the North Pole to the Midlands within the next 3 weeks.
That is awesome.
So I'll give you that number in a minute, but a couple of plugs. I am going to be in residence at Soda City in Columbia, South Carolina on Main Street for the next 3 Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we have a photo tent that will be set up, and Mrs. Claus will be there too. You get to visit and meet her. By the way, Mrs. Claus is Venezuelan. So that's going to be sort of fun.
Oh, does she call you San Nicolas? That's how you used to call you back then.
She calls me to the dinner table, and that's about it. So I'll be at Soda City the next 3 weekends, and then on the 15th 16th and 17th, I'll be at Noma Warehouse in Columbia at 2222 Sumter Street. And there are specific times that sort of change when I'm going to be there. And there you can come and get your photos for free.
Awesome.
Come to Soda City. There's a little fee, but that's okay. You get some personal time with me. Go to Noma Warehouse. We'll see if we can't set you up with some free photos. Now, for all of your viewers, that phone number for Mrs. Claus, and maybe parents might like to write this down, 803-429-2803. That number again, one more time, is 803-429-2803. And that's the number you call if you would like to book your very own visit from Santa Claus just prior to Christmas.
You're such a magical man that you were able to get an 803 number. It took me forever to get one.
Hey, he has connections you don't have.
You got connections. I bet you
Well,
do.
sometimes Santa is not just magical, but sometimes a capitalist as well.
Hey,
No, I tease, but I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity if they would like to have a visit from me. And we try to make everything economically sound. And, we just want to come and have a really good time with as many families as possible.
And Santa, I'm pretty sure that by you doing this type of stuff, it helps you to give more presents to the kids on Christmas days. I'm 100% sure about that.
You are right about that. You are absolutely correct. The more visits I make, the better a Christmas it can be for everyone. So I try to, whatever Santa receives, I try to give back to my community. I think we should all do something like that.
Absolutely.
Well, Santa, thank you so much. We know how busy you are, and this was just an absolute treat for us.
Thank you very much.
So much. Yes, thank you for having me. And I'll leave you with a few little words here. You've invited me here to spread Christmas cheer. These seasons' greetings so bright. But now I must go off into the snow to prepare for that really big night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Happy holidays.
Santa.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you
Santa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was so much fun.
It was. You got to watch the episode again. And I think I have a smiled entire interview.
I think my face is going to hurt tonight from smiling so much because I'm like, it's Santa!
I mean,
so much fun.
It was very, very, very difficult to get the real Santa, Allison.
Listen, I give you props for that.
I had to pull all my connections and make a couple offers they couldn't refuse. And finally, I was
able to get back some Christmas gifts.
And you know what the crazy thing is? That after I did all this stuff and, I put myself in situations of danger just to get able to communicate with that guy in the North Pole, it's like, oh, here's my wife's number. You can text her.
Gave it out to everybody.
Yeah, there you go. I can be there. I'm like, Santa, I
thought you were special.
But you know what? He's going to be around here, which is very cool. He's going to be in person in the Midlands, which... he's a real one, by the way. It doesn't happen too often.
Yep. Get to take your kids to see him, get a picture with Santa, and let them put in their last-minute wishes.
And don't forget to thank 30 Minutes Down South for bringing you the real Santa straight off from the North Pole.
That's right.
Not a fake one. This is the real one. I can tell you that.
Yes.
Anyway,
That's all we have.
30 minutes on the nose. Merry Christmas. No, we still got a couple more episodes before Christmas, right?
You can always say Merry
Christmas. Yeah,
Christmas.
just say Merry Christmas, right? This is official Christmas started. I mean, after you interview Santa, it has to be officially
Can't get much
Christmas,
better than
right?
that.
No. Well, I mean, we raised the bar so high.
I know.
Who's going to be our next guest?
Never can tell.
Nah, you never know, right? We got connections. She does, too.
Well, Merry Christmas.
See you later. Bye.